Hello, students. This is Faizan Mirza. We are discussing the role of NGOs in the conservation or in maintaining biodiversity. Now, when we are discussing the role of NGOs in this particular activity, what do we see? We see that there are many NGOs working all over the globe, and they work in close collaboration with all the countries. So, when they are working in close collaboration with other countries, they end up making frameworks or legislation which is followed globally. For example, sites. Sites is one category, or in fact, one of the major NGO and an international organization which ensures that illegal poaching and hunting and trade of endangered organism, or even those who are not endangered, it is stopped or it is curbed. IUCN is also a similar sort of NGO. We have WWF, World Wildlife Federation. You know, in Pakistan, WWF plays a very important role in maintenance of the mangrove forest, which are all along the coastline of Sindh. And then there is World Seed Bank. So all these NGOs, what do they do? This is what we are to discuss, and what efforts can we make to just restore the biodiversity. So these NGOs, they lay down legislation and the framework for the governments to follow, and when these legislations are laid down, it ensures that the illegal trade and hunting of endangered species, it is monitored. They also influence business in regard to the wildlife as well as other aspects of the biodiversity, which include not only the wildlife organisms but the environment in general. They collect donations by fundraising, and whenever they find certain human activities which are causing damage or harm to the nature or to biodiversity, they start a protest against them. For example, urban developments or programs where the humans are exploiting the nature or the natural reserves. So they start protesting to make sure that the voice is raised and the activity is curbed. They carry out research studies, they carry out campaigns to raise awareness among public, so that public is more aware of what kind of biodiversity prevail in their country and in their surrounding regions. They promote the idea that we don't live alone, we coexist with several other organisms, and we have a huge responsibility towards them. We can't drive anyone to extinction. They estimate, they categorize, and monitor species that are there in the world, and those which are threatened and those which are endangered, and what can be done to ensure that they are not going to be extinct, because if they are already endangered, they may get extinct eventually. This brings us to the role of sites. Now, sites is an organization, international organization. They have categorized the species into three categories: category 1, category 2, and category 3. Category 1, it includes species that are most endangered because of various human activities and habitat fragmentations. They are the most threatened ones, and they are expected to soon become extinct. So it is of immense importance that a complete ban on the trade of these species and their products is imposed. So all the organisms which are there in category 1, there's just complete ban on the trade of these species as well as on the products of these species. Category 2, it includes the species, and when we discuss species, include plants and animals and microbes and everything. So these species in category 2 are likely to get threatened with extinction if the numbers are not closely monitored. Now, when if the numbers are not closely monitored, so what can be done? Trade is allowed in this case, but trade is allowed only on the basis of a permit which is granted by the governments and the countries concerned, which means two countries or more than two countries which are involved in that trade. In category 3, the organisms which are included here, these are ones which the governments or the countries want their organisms to be included in category 3, just to get support from other countries in promoting the biodiversity of that that particular species, so that this species it doesn't undergo endangered, it doesn't become endangered, and its eventual extinction is prevented. In this way, the organisms which are in category 3, permits are required, and these permits are easier to get because these organisms are not under any kind of threat right now. But because of the request from the governments, these have been included in category 3 of sites. What can be done? We can restore the degraded habitats. So, to understand how to restore degraded habitats, we need to understand why the habitat got degraded in the first place. So, attempts to restore degraded the habitats have been going on. So, what caused these habitats to be degraded initially? Human activities? Yes. Apart from human activities, extreme climatic shifts such as hurricanes, flooding, drought, extreme shifts in the rainfall, fires. You can imagine, you can just probably recall the Australian forest fires and the Californian forest fires in the past few years. The natural disasters such as landsliding, earthquake, all these phenomena. Some of them are natural phenomena, some of them are human driven, or some are like kind of both. So they end up degrading the habitat. So what do? You can just ensure that you can probably plant more trees. And where can you plant more trees? This drive can be carried on lands which are not used for farming anymore, which used to be a farming land but it's not included in farms anymore. The crops are not grown, but plants can be grown there. And apart from that, land that is degraded due to overuse, so you can plant trees there as well. Mangrove forests are one of the most important, you can say, ecosystems of the world. These mangrove forests, they are the nurseries for young fishes. They are rich in nutrient cycling, and when they are rich in nutrient cycling, they basically they prevent the coastlines from erosions, as well as they prevent a high tide rising in the oceans or in the sea level. So they accommodate all the excess water that gets that comes out in the high tide. Pakistan, Karachi primarily, and the entire coastal region of Sindh, we have one of the largest reserves of mangrove forests, which are under constant observation of WWF. And these mangrove forests that we have, you can probably see them in DHA when you're going on the Creek Road on the left near the Marina Club. We have mangrove forest there as well. Not very huge, but yes, it's there. And several more are there. A huge stretch of mangrove forest is there on our beaches, which includes the entire stretch of beaches that we have all along the coastal region of Sindh. That's it from my side. Thank you so much.